Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah if you're new. And today I just got these acrylic Ohuhu paint markers. I have never tried these before, so I'm so excited to open them and see what's going on. I've heard a lot of hype about paint markers and acrylic markers in general, so I searched for some different brands. I know Arctic's is really popular and I do want to try those someday, but today I'm trying the Ohuhu brand ones. When I first opened these up, I'm really excited about the colors that I got. There seems to be a good variety of every color. And here's the marker, what it looks like. There doesn't seem to be a color name, there's just a color number. There's a fine tip and a brush tip. So I'm gonna swatch these out real quick. I'm gonna do some, like half of the box with the brush tip, and then I'll turn it around and then do the fine tip just to see what we're working with. We got one more to go. Let's turn this around and do the fine tip. What? It didn't come with a nib. Is it in the cap? It's not stuck in the cap. That is so weird. Did it get left in the box? It's not in the box. That is so weird. So moving on. I'm actually really impressed with the colors. They're very bright. I tried to go over the box just a little bit with the markers just to see how opaque they were, and you can see the line a little bit. I ended up layering the white specifically 4 or 5 times to see how many layers would get it completely opaque, and it never really got completely opaque, but it's not a magic marker, it's just paint. But look at how shiny that black is. Alright, so let's draw something with these markers in mind. I do feel oddly inspired today to draw birds, but not the typical like tweet birds. I'm talking like your odd looking bird, something that you don't see every day, at least where I live. So this is a flashlight. My husband is a crazy flashlight nut, and he just got this flashlight and he said this would be really cool for you to draw with. So I'm trying it out today and seeing how it works for me. And let's get started on our first bird. I'm doing a penguin first. So now that I have the outline pretty much done, I want to go in and fix some of the details and add some facial features. This head is way too round and it needs to come down and be smoothed out a little bit. And I do have the paint markers in mind while I'm drawing this, so I am just giving myself an outline for where maybe the markers will go, where the different colors will go. And let's make this belly way smaller. And I think this arm should go down a little bit too. Let's move on to our next bird. I'm thinking a flamingo for this one. I have a really cool reference photo pulled up that I'm going off of, and he is looking upside down at us and his body is standing up in the background and it looks so cool. I have never looked at flamingos' thighs before, but they're tiny. I did not expect that. And their super knobby knees. I think I actually want this neck to look way more swoopy and rounded than the reference photo is. Oh man, you know what would have been so cool is if I put this head way over here and just had the neck way long. But it's too late for that. Let's move on to our next bird. I am oddly fascinated with puffins. My kids watch a show called Puffin Rock on Netflix, and it's so cute. So when I thought of another bird that's not a tweet tweet bird, I immediately thought of a puffin. And when I found this reference photo, I was so drawn to it because he looks kind of smug as he's walking, and it reminded me of the Office scene where Jim is describing the bedbug to Dwight, saying he's walking all smug like this and starts puffing out his chest. I thought it was so funny, but this puffin reminds me of that, so I was thinking of that scene the whole time I was drawing this. Let's add in some more face details now that we have the body shape down. They have an odd circle right here for their cheeks. Let's shore up some of these lines, and oh my goodness, this foot is way too small. Let's fix that. This next one that I'm drawing is a shoebill stork. They look menacing. I had to draw it. They have a big old beak and they look out from under their eyebrows like they're gonna kill you. They are so fascinating to look at, so I had to draw it. Something looks really weird right here. The head needs to not be out so far. I'm gonna fix that real quick. Bring it in. That's better. Let's actually give this guy a pupil. The lighting on this reference photo is actually really dramatic, and this whole side of the face is in shade, which just adds to the menacing nature of this guy. He looks awesome. This next bird that I'm drawing is a kiwi bird. I have never seen one of these in real life. They don't live where I do. They live in New Zealand, and I have never been there before. They have these big old round bodies and the longest beak. And they look almost like a dinosaur. Like their legs are huge compared to what their bodies look like. And that was really interesting, so I had to draw him. Something about this doesn't look right. I think the angle of the beak is wrong. So let's draw in the line, the midline, and then try again. So I think it would go down like this. Oh yeah, I think that's right. That looks much better. So I think I have to shore up the head shape before I add in the eyes. Let's try again. And the other one, yeah, definitely. This body should be way smaller. And they have huge prehistoric feet. Something looks weird with this toe. I think the middle toe needs to be a lot longer. Yes, that was definitely the problem. I thought it might be fun to have a bird head peeking upside down at us in this little space here. And the silliest bird that comes to mind is an ostrich. This is the first bird on this spread where I'm not really sure where I should start. It doesn't seem like there's any great starting point. So I decided to just start with the nose. So the front of the beak and then the nostrils, and just kind of go from there and see where we end up. This paper is starting to get really loose, so I'm going to tighten this up a little bit. All right, something just isn't really adding up here. I think, okay, so this is the reference photo that I'm looking at. The iris, the center of the eye starts at the same line that the edge of the lips do, or beak. They don't have lips. It's giving off really creepy grandma vibes, and that's not really what I was going for. So let's finish it and see how we like it, and if we need to adjust anything, then we'll worry about that then. All right, let's turn this around and see how we like it. I immediately hate it. I need to change it. The drawing isn't bad, but I think that the dark color of the pencil is what needs to change. So I'm gonna try redrawing this whole thing in just a yellow pencil and see if the yellow helps give it the silliness that I was looking for. I'm already liking this way better. Let's see how it looks. Yes, this is what I wanted. But now that I'm looking at it, I notice that the penguin is the only one that is not colored. So I'm going to turn the penguin purple. Bear with me for 7 seconds. I have one more spot to fill in front of this flamingo, and I know I said I didn't want to do any like traditional birds, but I couldn't help but draw the cutest little running duckling. First, I have to figure out these shapes. So his tiny little chest goes about here, and then his bottom part is a big oval that comes around, and his back leg is going to go here, and his other leg that's running goes here. Something about this back leg doesn't make sense to me, and I can't find where the wing is, but I'm pretty sure it's almost like exactly in the same spot as the back leg is. And that honestly looks fine to me, so I'm gonna run with it. But the birds are done. Let's finally get to the paint pens. I am so excited. Wow. Okay, this is really smooth. I don't really know what I was expecting. I haven't used paints in a really long time, but this is honestly smoother than I remember paints feeling. And it's so smooth. It almost feels like it's like if you were to compare ice skating to roller skating. The ice skating is just like so smooth. It's almost slippery, and compared to roller skating, where you can kind of feel the pressure of the ground underneath you, there's almost no pressure of the paper underneath this marker. Another word I would use to describe it is very buttery. Let's see how thin we can get these lines. I really like how well you can layer over the other colors. So if I decide I don't like this color, I can just go in with another paint color and totally cover it up. Let's do the flamingo next. I'm gonna try using orange with this flamingo to give it a little bit of abstract colors. I am so used to alcohol markers that I expected this orange to be a little bit more see-through, but I forget that these are paint markers and not alcohol markers. This mouth, where the beak separates, is a lot more textured. I'm gonna see what I can do with white. How tiny I can get the details. Oh, that looks awesome. So I made some decisions with the body color, and I'm not really happy with how it looks right now, but I'm gonna keep going and we'll see what we can do with it. I really like how you can cover up these colors. I don't love the pink for this flamingo. I'm gonna get a layer of wet orange and see if I can blend with the pink. And I definitely can. Oh no, is it making my pen? Let's try to get that off. Will it come out? Okay. Yes, it came out. And it turns out that I have pretty much the same color that I was blending, and I just didn't look hard enough. So I'm gonna change this pretty much the whole body color to this color and just use little tiny motions for little tiny feathers. I want to try using the black paint marker instead of my fine liner and just see if it works well enough, and it's doing really good. I really like using cream as the shade color for white. I feel like it gives such a rich tone. I'm gonna try doing this kiwi with more texture than anything, and just focus on the hairs. So I'm thinking that I'll just go ahead and use most of the browns. It's so crazy how different the paint looks when it's wet versus when it's dry. It's so light going on, but then it dries to that gray color. And it dries really fast too, way faster than I was expecting. So let's move on to another brown that we got to add a lot of variety and depth to this brown creature. This peach color looks like a very stark difference, but I'm hoping that it will all make sense when I add the long black hairs on the face. So I could again do this with my fine liners, but I want to test out these markers to their full capacity and see just how thin of lines I can get. And they hold up fairly well to my expectations. They're not as thin as I think I would have gone for this, but for a paint pen, I think they did really well. Moving on to this guy, I want to stay pretty true to the picture that I'm looking at, the reference photo, but I also don't want to be so limited in my color scheme. I want to test out all the markers, so I'm pretty much using all the blues here. I might decide to change some of these blues later. It's a little too bright for how mean he looks. I wonder if I could use an alcohol marker on top of this, like a glaze. Let's see. Oh, nope, that's definitely lifting the... Let's try to get this off of my alcohol marker. Okay, yes, it came off. Alcohol markers do not work on top of paint pens. One thing about this marker pack is that there isn't a good red. The only reds that it came with were like those pinks that I used for the flamingo. So that is one color that I wish that they had, was a good, just solid red. I'm going to tone down a lot of this bright blue, add some feathering, and I'm ready to add a lot of the dark black lines to finish off this bird. Wow, this is turning out almost like a cell shading. I didn't mean to do that, but I'm very intrigued by it, and I want to do more of this. I am loving using this white marker on top as like the final details. Instead of just highlights, it adds a lot of texture. I think I need to darken up this eye more. I want to stick with the bright yellow for this duckling. I think it will add a lot of happiness to this side of the page. I like that you can get a lot of texture just by adding these little tiny lines. It makes the duckling look very puffy. I think that these pens are awesome. I definitely want to try different paint pens in the future and compare them with each other. But so far, I am very, very impressed with how paint pens work. I am a little bit worried about adding paint to this ostrich because of the problem that I had when I was drawing him. Mainly about him just looking a little too scary. So I'm gonna do my best to keep it lively, but hopefully just by using more color than with black and white graphite, it will just kind of be more lively all on its own. After I did finish this spread, I asked my husband which one was his favorite, and he very easily said the penguin. And when I asked why, he said, because he looks like he just walked into a room and everybody is yelling at him, but he has no idea why. He's just totally clueless. I thought that was a very funny explanation, but when you look at the penguin, it does look exactly like that. I'm really liking how this is turning out so far. It's not as scary as I thought it might look, and I think it is just the fact that there are more colors than black and white. And I'm betting you that once I add these white highlights to the eyes and to certain areas on the nose, that it will look way better. I think I actually want to add a little bit more dimension to the mouth. Oh yeah, this is the key to making it look so silly. Let's add a little bit more black to the eyes. And this is how the spread turned out. Thank you so much for coming along with me while we tried these acrylic paint markers by Ohuhu, and I will see you next time.